Hello my dear students, welcome to Homeschool. In this session, we are going to discuss the sample question paper for the subject Science published by Cbse. I know you all are very busy with your revisions, right? Hope this discussion will help you to analyze the present question paper pattern so that you can be equipped with such type of questions so that you can score maximum score for your exam. Success is not a miracle, right? It needs self-determination, hard work, and you need to pour sweat so that you will be able to reach the ultimate altitude of success. So let's analyze the science sample question paper, and here we have questions out of 80 marks. And the time duration of the examination will be 3 hours. Then this question paper will be having a total of 39 questions and it consists of 5 different sections. All the questions are compulsory. However, an internal choice is provided in some questions. So you should be very careful that the student is expected to attempt only one of these questions. Out of the all questions, you can choose any one which you are so comfortable with. Okay. Let's analyze each section in detail now. In section A, altogether there are 20 objective type questions and each question carry 1 marks. There will be 4 options given. Okay, so you should read the question carefully and then go through the options and find out the proper one. And after this section, you will be having section B where you will be having 6 questions which are very short answer type and each question carry 2 marks. So for the 2-mark question, the student is expected to write maximum 4 valid points. As per the demand of the question, you can write up to 4 valid points. Okay. And for 2-mark questions, the answers should be in the range of 30 to 50 words. You should not go beyond. If you go beyond that, what will happen? There won't be time for you to complete 5-mark section and all. Okay. After section B, you will be having section C and it consists of 7 short answer type questions. And each question in section C carries 3 marks. Okay, so how many valid points you can write? A maximum of 6 valid points. Okay, so keep it noted. So answer to these questions should be in the range 50 to 80 words. Okay, so make sure that you are writing an answer as per the requirement of the question. Don't go beyond it. Okay. Now, in the section D, there are 3 long answer type questions carrying 5 marks, one from physics, chemistry and from biology each. And answer to these questions should be in the range of 80 to 120 words. Maximum you can explain, you can give explanation for the 5-mark section. Okay. Then, after that, the last section, section E, consists of 3 source-based or case-based questions. And this assessment is of 4 marks each. You will be having A, B or C subsections will be there. Okay, so this is the pattern of the present science question paper published by Cbse board. So, now we are going to discuss a sample question paper and at first, we will be discussing about chemistry. Okay, chemistry section will be explained first. So, the first 7 questions are objective type questions and there will be 4 options given. Okay, so can we move to the MCQs? Are you ready for that? Okay, so let's start. Section A, select and write one most appropriate option out of the 4 options given for each of the questions 1 to 20. Out of 1 to 20, first 7 questions are chemistry. Okay. So, the first question, in the redox reaction, a redox reaction is given here, MnO2 plus 4HCl giving MnCl2 plus 2H2O plus Cl2. So, here we have a redox reaction. So, what should you find here? You need to find who is getting oxidized and who is getting reduced. Isn't it? Oxidized substance and the reduced substance. For that, we should know which is oxidation and which is reduction. Here, MnO2, we have oxygen here, and when it becomes MnCl2, what is happening? Oxygen is getting lost, isn't it? If oxygen is gained, it is oxidation. If oxygen is lost, what is the process? It is reduction, right? So, here this is the reduction process. Reduction. And here you can see HCl. And this HCl becomes H2O. It is gaining oxygen. That is oxidation. Right? Yes. So, it is oxidation. So, since MnO2 undergo reduction, it is the reduced substance, isn't it? So, MnO2 is the reduced substance and HCl undergo oxidation. So, it is the oxidized substance. So, which is the option here? MnO2 is reduced to MnCl2, HCl is oxidized to H2O, isn't it? So, our answer is A. MnO2 is reduced to MnCl2 and HCl is oxidized to H2O. So, from this question, it is very clear that the section oxidation reduction is very important. So, when you are given chemical reaction, you should be able to recognize oxidation and reduction processes, and from the reactants, you will be able to choose the oxidized substance, reduced substance or the agents. Okay, so that you will be able to score marks for such questions. I hope this question is clear, isn't it? So, moving to the second question. The change in color of the moist litmus paper in the given setup is due to dash. So, here you can see a test tube containing sodium chloride, and you can see drop by drop inserting sulfuric acid, and after that what they are doing? They are showing a moist litmus paper into the gas coming out. So, what happens here? Why there is a change in color? We know dry litmus paper will not show any color change, right? Yes. So, why a moist litmus paper shows a change in color? Yes. Moist means the litmus paper contains some amount of moisture. That means it contains some amount of water in the form of vapor. Some water is there. Since the water content is present, what happens? H plus ions will be produced, isn't it? Yes. So, let's see the options. First one, presence of acid. Second, presence of base. Third, presence of H plus aqueous in the solution. That means the presence of H plus ions in the aqueous solution. And the fourth one, presence of litmus which acts as an indicator. Okay, so here we have again 4 options. This is the option. A, 1 and 2. B, only 2. C, only 3. D, only 4. Which is the answer? Yes, only presence of H plus ions is the reason, isn't it? So, what can you infer from this? The answer for the second question is C, only 3. Because it is the presence of the H plus ions which makes a color change for the moist litmus paper. Okay, I hope the answer is clear. The same question can be repeated for 2 marks also. Okay, so you should be able to write it in a very short answer without explaining much. Okay, children? So, make sure that you are following the pattern. That means if the question is for 2 marks, maximum 4 points should be written. Okay? Yes. Moving to the third question. With the reference to 4 gases, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, chlorine and oxygen, which one of the options in the table is correct? So, 4 options are given here. Option A, acidic oxide is carbon monoxide. Used in the treatment of water is chlorine. Product of respiration is oxygen. Incomplete combustion product is carbon monoxide. Is it correct? No. Because carbon monoxide is not acidic. Is it so? Product of respiration, it is carbon dioxide, right? Not oxygen. So, please go through these 4 and can you say out of these 4 which is the correct one? So, how will you find out the answer for this? First of all, look at the first one, acidic oxides. Which are acidic oxides? We know non-metals form acidic oxides, isn't it? So, carbon dioxide is an acidic oxide. Then, used in the treatment of water, that is chlorine. So, the answer is now either A or B, right? Then, out of A or B, how will you find out? Look at the third one, product of respiration. Which is a product of respiration? We know as a result of respiration, carbon dioxide and nitrogen gas is released, isn't it? So, here the answer is carbon dioxide. And the product of incomplete combustion, it is of course carbon monoxide, isn't it? So, all the 4 conditions are satisfied by B, isn't it? That means acidic oxide, carbon dioxide, used in the treatment of water, that is chlorine, product of respiration, carbon dioxide, and the product of incomplete combustion, again carbon monoxide. So, our answer is option B. Okay? Clear? Coming to the 4th question. Which of the following is the correct observation of the reaction shown in the setup? What is the picture here? Here you can see a magnesium ribbon and it is heated using burner, right? What happens when magnesium ribbon is burned? Yes, we know magnesium oxide is collected here, isn't it? And a white dazzling flame will be given out. So, let's see the options. A, brown powder of magnesium oxide is formed. Do brown powder is formed here? No. So, it's not correct. B, a colorless gas which turns lime water milky is evolved. There is no involvement of lime water here. So, that is also not correct. Third one, magnesium ribbon burns with brilliant white light. That is correct, isn't it? Yes. Look at the 4th option. Reddish brown gas with a smell of burning sulfur has evolved. Not possible. So, which is the answer here? Option C. Magnesium ribbon burns with brilliant white light. Clear, children? Okay. So, the answer for this question is option C. Magnesium ribbon burns with brilliant white light. And what is the product formed here? That is magnesium oxide. Okay. So, children, in the first chapter, chemical reactions and equation, this reaction is very important. You should know how to write it in a balanced form. You should know why we clean this magnesium ribbon before burning. Okay. So, many questions are repeatedly asking for the board exam from this activity. Keep it noted. Okay. Coming to the 5th question. Anita added a drop each of diluted acetic acid and diluted hydrochloric acid on pH paper and compared the colors. Okay. Which of the following is the correct conclusion? Let's see the options. First one, A. pH of acetic acid is more than that of hydrochloric acid. Option B. pH of acetic acid is less than that of hydrochloric acid. Third one, C. Acetic acid dissociates completely in aqueous solution. And D. Acetic acid is a strong acid. Yes, when we discuss about the pH, we can say it's of course option A. pH of acetic acid is more than pH of hydrochloric acid. That is the answer. I know it's clear to you, right? From the section of pH, there will be different types of questions. Either this question can come in the 3 mark section also. You will be given 2 samples with 2 different pH. You have to arrange them in the order of acidity, basicity, or you have to say who is having maximum H plus ions or who is having minimum OH minus ion, like that. Okay, so the topic pH and applications of pH in life is also an important topic from the chapter acid, bases and salts. Okay, yes. Moving to the 6th question. On placing a copper coin in a test tube containing green ferrous sulfate solution, it will be observed that ferrous sulfate solution dash. You have to choose. So before going through the options, can you say what will happen? Here we have ferrous sulfate solution. We know its color is green, right? Into it we are placing a copper coin. So there is a possibility for displacement. If displacement should take place, what is the condition? Copper should be more reactive than iron. Is it possible? No. Since copper is less reactive than iron, will displacement occur? No. So let's see the options here. So it will be observed that the ferrous sulfate solution A turns blue and a grey substance is deposited on the copper coin. Is it correct? No. Turns colorless and a grey substance is deposited on the copper coin. That's also wrong. Third one. Turns colorless and a reddish brown substance is deposited on the copper coin. No. So the last option D, remains green. The solution remains green because ferrous sulfate itself is green in color with no change in copper coin. Why there is no change? Because copper is less reactive than iron. So no displacement occurs here. Isn't it? So this is the correct answer. Option D, remains green with no change in copper coin. No displacement reaction has taken place. Clear? So students, displacement reaction is also an important area from which questions are repeated every year. Moving to the next question. Question number 7. The formula of 4 organic compounds are shown below. Choose the correct option. Here you have ethene, then CH3COOH. What is it? Ethanoic acid, then followed by C2H6, ethane, and then you have CH3CH2OH, ethanol. So here we have 4 options. A and B are unsaturated hydrocarbons. A and B, they are unsaturated hydrocarbons. B, C and D are unsaturated hydrocarbons. What about C and D? C and D are saturated, right? Yes. Addition of hydrogen in the presence of catalyst changes A to Z. A, it is ethene, right? It is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. When hydrogen is added in the presence of a catalyst like nickel or palladium, what happens? Yes, surely this unsaturated hydrocarbon gets converted into a saturated hydrocarbon. Isn't it? So, C is correct. Addition of potassium permanganate changes B to D. It's not possible. Isn't it? So, our answer is addition to hydrogen in the presence of catalyst changes A to C. Okay? Fine. So, the first 7 questions are objective type questions, and then the next section you are having assertion reason question. In the first section A itself, last 3 questions are assertion reason type questions. So here The question number 17 to 20 are assertion reasoning based questions. These consist of two statements, assertion and reason. Answer these questions selecting the appropriate option given below. So 17th question is chemistry. Let's see the assertion first. Silver bromide decomposition is used in black and white photography. Is the statement correct? Yes. So the assertion is correct, right? Let's see the reason now. Light provides energy for this exothermic reaction. Here light provides energy, that is correct. Sunlight is the source. But is the silver bromide decomposition an exothermic reaction? No, it's not exothermic, right? All the decomposition reactions are endothermic in nature, isn't it? So, here the reason is not correct, isn't it? The reason is wrong. So, our answer is C. A is true, assertion is true, but reason is false. Clear, children? Okay. So, now we are going to discuss the section B. Here, altogether from 21 to question number 26, you will be having very short answer type questions. Okay, so let's see the chemistry question now. Here it is a OR question. Okay, so either you can attempt this one or you can move to the next question B. So out of this, any one answer is to be attempted. So don't write both answers. Then they will evaluate only the first one. The priority will be given for the first answer and they will cut down the second one. So read the two questions, out of which the answer which is very clear to you, you can attempt and you can ignore the other one. Okay, children. So anyway, we will be discussing both the answers. So question 21. A clear solution of slaked lime is made by dissolving CaOH twice in excess of water. So now we have calcium hydroxide solution, isn't it? The solution is left exposed to air. Here, this we have learned in the process of whitewashing, right? Yes, in lesson 1, chemical reactions and equations. The solution slowly goes milky as a faint white precipitation forms. Explain why a faint white precipitate forms. Support your answer with the help of a chemical equation. Okay. So first you should know what happens to calcium hydroxide when it is exposed to air. What happens when calcium hydroxide is exposed to air? That solution and when it is exposed to air, what is happening? It combines with carbon dioxide and forms calcium carbonate and water will be given out. When calcium carbonate is formed, milkiness will be formed or a white precipitate will be formed. And let's write the answer in the form of a chemical equation. So, calcium hydroxide CaOH twice combines with carbon dioxide CO2 and on reaction what happens? You will get calcium carbonate CaCO3 and water will be eliminated. And it is the formation of calcium carbonate which gives a formation of white precipitate or a milkiness. Isn't it? Yes, I hope this answer is clear. Okay. So, this is the first answer. So, here total 2 marks is there now. So, 1 mark will be given for explaining the answer and 1 mark will be given for the equation. Okay. So, if you are not writing the equation properly, you will not get full marks. So, you have to explain the reaction and then you have to write the answer in the equation format so that you will be able to get the 2 marks completely. Okay, children? Yes, let's see the OR question for question 21. Kirti added dilute hydrochloric acid to 4 metals and recorded her observations as shown in the table given below. Here it's observation. Copper forms a gas. Iron also gives a gas, whereas magnesium has no evolution of gas. Zinc again gives out a gas. So, select the correct observations and give chemical equation of the reaction involved. Look at the first one, copper. Do copper reacts with hydrochloric acid? No, isn't it? Because copper is less reactive than hydrogen. And when you think about the reactivity series, copper is placed below hydrogen. Since copper is less reactive than hydrogen, no displacement occurs. As a result, no gas will be evolved. So, here you will not be able to get the chemical equation. Now, let's see iron. What happens when iron is reacted with hydrochloric acid, isn't it? So, let's try the equation. Iron Fe plus HCl. Once they combine, they can either form ferric chloride, isn't it? So, FeCl2 or it can form FeCl3, right? And also it can give out common hydrogen gas, or it can give out hydrogen. Okay. That is the first one. Look at the next one. Magnesium has no reaction. Of course, coming to zinc. What happens when zinc reacts with HCl? When zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid, it will give you zinc chloride, a salt, and hydrogen gas will be given out. These are the equations involved here. Since there are two equations involved, each chemical reaction will be awarded 1 mark each. As a result, you will be getting 2 marks for the 2 equations. Clear, children? So, make sure that you are very thorough with regard to the balancing of chemical equations, converting a word equation into a balanced form, or writing the skeletal equation into a balanced form. All these questions are repeatedly asking for the board examination. Okay. Now, coming to section C. In the introduction, I have already told you section C consists of 3 mark questions, isn't it? So, question number 27 to 33 are short answer questions and each question carry 3 marks. So, let's see the question from chemistry. Identify the types of reaction mentioned above in 1 and 2. Here you have 2 reactions given. Give one example for each type in the form of a balanced chemical equation. First one, A plus BC giving AC plus B. So, before reaction A is alone. What happened after the reaction? It combines with the C, isn't it? And B is displaced. So, what type of reaction is the first one? Yes, you are correct. It is displacement reaction, isn't it? So, here you have to write an example for a displacement reaction. Can you give an example for displacement reaction? Yes. What happens when zinc is placed in a copper sulfate solution? Yes. When zinc is dipped in copper sulfate solution, we know zinc is solid. When it is dipped in copper sulfate solution, which is in aqueous form, what happens? Since zinc is more reactive than copper, displacement reaction takes place, isn't it? As a result, you will get zinc sulfate, ZnSO4, aqueous, and what will be given out? You will be getting copper separate, right? And Cu. Okay, so this is the example for the first one, that is displacement reaction. Look at the second one, AB plus CD giving AC and BD. What happens here? Both the reactants, both the compounds interchange their companion, isn't it? As a result, double displacement reaction occurred, isn't it? So, can you give an example for a double displacement? So, of course, the second one is a double displacement reaction, isn't it? Double displacement. So, can you give an example for a double displacement reaction? Yes. What is the example? Yes. When barium chloride, aqueous, and sodium sulfate, aqueous, two solutions are mixed, what happened? They interchange their ions. As a result, a white precipitate of barium sulfate is formed and sodium chloride will be separated, isn't it? Yes, that is an example for a double displacement reaction. So, you will get barium sulfate, BaSO4, and this barium sulfate will be a white precipitate, isn't it? This will be a white precipitate, and the second product will be 2NaCl, sodium chloride. So, that is the equation showing the second one. So, here first one is displacement reaction and the second one is an example for double displacement reaction. You can write any example, okay? No need to learn the same one. You can write any other equations also, but they should be of the same type. Okay, children. So, from the first chapter, types of chemical reactions, combination, 3 types of decomposition, displacement, double displacement are very important. You should learn the examples also. Okay. Coming to the next one in the same section C. Here, identify the gases evolved at the anode and cathode in the above experimental setup. Here you can see brine and you can see anode and cathode and brine containing sodium hydroxide. So, as a result of the reaction, you are getting sodium hydroxide. Okay. So, what is this? Name the process that occurs and why is it called so? Can you say what is this process? Yes, it is chlor-alkali process, right? Chlor-alkali process. Why is it called chlor-alkali process? When electricity is passed through sodium chloride solution, brine, what happened? Decomposition takes place, isn't it? As a result, what are the products formed? You will get an alkali. What's the name of that alkali? That is sodium hydroxide, NaOH, also known as caustic soda. And we will get chlorine gas. Along with that, hydrogen gas is also formed, isn't it? Yes, that's why the process came to be known as chlor-alkali process. So, as a result of this electrolysis, brine solution, it will give you an alkali named NaOH, chlorine gas and hydrogen gas. Okay, and here you have to say which are the gases evolved at cathode and anode. Which are the gases formed? Yes, at cathode, hydrogen gas will be liberated. What about anode? Yes, at anode, chlorine gas will be liberated. Okay? Yes. So, that was the answer for the first question. Now, coming to section C. What is the third subpart? Illustrate the reaction of the process with the help of a chemical equation. Okay? So, how this chlor-alkali process is carried out? That is the third question. So, when electricity is passed through aqueous solution of sodium chloride, isn't it? So, sodium chloride, NaCl, aqueous. And when it is combined with water, H2O, liquid, electrolysis occurs, right? Electrolysis. As a result of electrolysis, what are the products formed? You will be getting NaOH, right? Then, what are the other two gases given out? You will be getting chlorine gas and then hydrogen gas. This is the balanced equation. 2NaCl plus H2O on electrolysis gives 2NaOH plus Cl2 plus HCl. Clear? Fine. So, this chloralkali process is a very important topic. Now, coming to section D. Section D carries 5 marks. Okay. From physics, chemistry and biology, there will be one question each. Okay. So, question number 34 to 36 are long answer questions. So, let's see the chemistry question first. Okay. Question number 34. Srishti heated ethanol with a compound A in the presence of few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid and observed a sweet smelling compound B is formed. So, let's represent this first sentence into a balanced equation. So, what is happening here? Ethanol combines with the A in the presence of sulfuric acid. So, what's the formula of ethanol? Ethanol is CH3 CH2OH. When ethanol combines with A, we don't know that. What happens? When they combines in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, what is formed? A sweet smelling compound B is formed. A sweet smelling. We know esters are sweet smelling, isn't it? So, ester is formed on reaction of an alcohol with an acid, isn't it? So, what should be A? A should be an acid. So, let it be CH3 COOH. Okay. So, we got A. What is A? A is CH3 COOH, acetic acid. Now, or ethanoic acid. Now, what happens when this alcohol and acid combines in the presence of concentrated acid? Yes, they will give you an ester. What's the formula? CH3 COO C2H5. Okay, so we got B, CH3 COO C2H5. Now, let's see the second part. When B is treated with sodium hydroxide, it gives back ethanol and a compound C. So, let's see what happens when the B, CH3 COO C2H5, when it is treated with sodium hydroxide, NaOH, what happens? You will get ethanol back. What's the formula of ethanol? CH3 CH2OH. So, CH3 CH2OH is gone. Then what is left? CH3 COONA, right? You will get CH3 COONA. Okay? So, that is C. What is C? CH3 COONA. Okay? Sodium acetate. So, C is CH3 COONA, sodium acetate. Okay? Give one use each of compounds A and B. What is A? A is acetic or ethanoic acid. What is its common use? It is mainly used in cooking. We know the diluted solution of acetic or ethanoic acid is used as vinegar for cooking or in pickles as preservative, isn't it? Now, coming to the second one, compound B. So, it is mainly used in the preparation of perfumes as a flavoring agent. Okay? Write the chemical reactions involved and name the reactions. So, this is the first equation and this is the second equation. So, first, alcohol combines with acid in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. You got CH3 COO C2H5. So, what is that step known as? It is, here we got an ester, right? So, that is esterification. In the second step, ester combines with NaOH, and you got CH3COONA, isn't it? So that is saponification. So esterification is followed by saponification. So from the chapter carbon and its compounds, this section is very important. Okay, ethanol, ethanoic acid, then preparation of soap. So give importance to those sections. Okay, children. Coming to the OR question. What is the role of concentrated sulfuric acid when it is treated with ethanol at 443 Kelvin? So let's see the equation for the first one. Ethanol, C2H5OH, right? Or CH3CH2OH. When it is treated with a concentrated sulfuric acid, hot concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 Kelvin, what will happen? Yes, it will get converted into an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Here it is a saturated hydrocarbon with single bonds. It will be converted into an unsaturated hydrocarbon, that is C2H4. Okay? And the leftover things will be given as water. So what is happening here? Actually, sulfuric acid acts as a dehydrating agent. So what is the importance of this sulfuric acid here? It acts as a dehydrating agent. Very important answer. Dehydrating agent. So the role of sulfuric acid is to remove water from it. Okay. When water is removed, this saturated hydrocarbon gets converted into an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Here, we transform this alcohol, ethanol, into ethene. Okay, a double bonded hydrocarbon. Clear, children? Yes. Coming to the second part. Reshu, by mistake, forgot to label the two test tubes containing ethanol and ethanoic acid. Suggest an experiment to identify the substances correctly. Illustrate the reactions with the help of chemical equations. Okay. So, can you just tell me, how can we distinguish between ethanol and ethanoic acid? Yes. Think about the reaction with metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates. Out of these two, one reacts with metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates. Is it ethanol or ethanoic acid? In the lesson Acids and Bases, we have learned under chemical properties that acids can combine with metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates, isn't it? And they give out a metal salt, carbon dioxide and water, isn't it? So, here ethanol has no reaction with metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so ethanol has no reaction with metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates, whereas this ethanoic acid can react. So let's see the reaction for that. So when ethanoic acid combines with metal carbonates, metal carbonate Na2CO3, what happens? It gives CH3COO Na, isn't it? CH3COO Na and H2O and CO2. Now, what happens when the same acid reacts with metal hydrogen carbonate, NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate? Let's take the example of sodium hydrogen carbonate. On reaction with this, here the same product will be given out. CH3COO plus H2O and CO2. Okay. So, from this it is clear that acids can be identified by reacting it with metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates, they will give out a salt, then water and carbon dioxide. Whereas alcohols has no reaction with metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates. So, chemical properties of acids and bases are very important. Okay, children. Moving to the next question. Question 37 to 39 are case-based questions or source-based question, and it is coming under section E, the last section, and there will be 2 to 3 subparts and internal choice is also provided in one of these subparts. Okay, so let's see the question from chemistry. Question number 37. 2 students decided to investigate the effect of water and air on iron object under identical experimental conditions. They measured the mass of each object before placing it partially immersed in 10 ml of water. After a few days, the objects were removed, dried, and their masses were measured. The table shows their results. And the result is like this. The student A observed an iron nail and the mass of the iron nail before rusting is 3 gram and mass of the iron nail after rusting or after getting the coating of rust is 3.15 gram. That means the mass increased when this coating of rusting is formed. And when student B observed a thin plate, mass of the thin plate before rusting 6 gram. Again, mass of object, the thin plate, after getting coating of rusting is 6.33 gram. Okay, now let's see the first sub-question. What might be the reason for the varied observations of the 2 students? Why there is difference in the mass of the coated object? Why is it so? Rusting takes place in both the cases. Rusting occurred on iron nail as well as on a thin plate, isn't it? But the extent of the rusting is different in iron nail and in thin plate. That's why the mass of the object before rusting and after rusting is changed. So, it is due to the increase, it is due to the formation of rust, the mass of the object gets increased after rusting has taken place. Okay. Now, second sub-question from the same section. In another setup, the students coated iron nails with zinc and noted that iron nails coated with zinc prevents rusting. We know when an iron object is coated with a zinc, surely rusting cannot take place. Is a preventive method, right? We have learned about it. They also observed that zinc initially acts as a physical barrier. But an extra advantage of using zinc is that it continues to prevent rusting even if the layer of zinc is damaged. Name this process of rust prevention and give any 2 other methods to prevent rusting. So, what is this process? Coating zinc over iron. Yes, it is known as galvanization, right? It is galvanization. What are the other preventive methods? Rusting can be prevented by painting, isn't it? Or greasing, oiling. Then, yes, you are telling correct. What is that? Electroplating, chromium plating, isn't it? So, all these are the different methods which helps us to prevent rusting. Okay, so you can write any 2 methods for that. Now, the last subpart. In which of the following applications of iron rusting will occur most? Here you have 4 pictures given. Support your answer with valid reason. A is iron bucket electroplated with a zinc. Since iron bucket is electroplated with zinc, will rusting take place? No, because galvanized bucket is here. B, second one here you can see electricity cable having iron wires covered with aluminium. That is also a coating there. C, iron hinges. You can see iron gate. Iron hinges on a gate. Okay, hinges are there. So, they are kept open. And the last option D, painted iron fence. Since the iron fence are painted, painting prevents formation of rust. So, out of these 4, it is iron hinges on a gate. They are exposed to air as well as moisture. Since rusting occurs very faster when a substance is exposed to air and moisture, here in this third object, that is C, iron hinges on a gate will undergo rusting most. Okay, here there is no any galvanization or any other painting, nothing is done. So, there is a direct contact of this iron object with the air and water. As a result, rusting occurs faster. Okay, so the rate of rusting will be faster in the third one, C, iron hinges on a gate. Clear, children? Okay. So, my dear students, I hope this question paper discussion is clear, isn't it? So, in a nutshell, what I can conclude is that from chemistry, you will be having nearly 25 marks questions. Okay, so please go through all the 4 chapters in detail and read your textbooks clearly and try to revise the portions and attempt maximum previous year's question papers. Okay, so that you will be able to score your maximum marks.
Hello, my dear students. Welcome to Homeschool. So, as the CBSE Class 10 board exams are approaching, you are busy with your revisions, your portions are already over. So, we are here with some question paper discussion sessions, which will help you attempt the examination with much more ease. So, in this session, we are going to take up the science paper, and in that, we will be discussing the questions which are included from physics session. Physics carries 25 marks. There are 4 chapters, as you know, as per the present syllabus. The first 2 chapters, that is light reflection and refraction, the human eye and the colorful world. These 2 chapters includes 12 marks. Electricity and magnetic effects of electric current carries 13 marks. So, in all, 25 marks for physics part. So, let's start with the questions which are included from physics. Now, when it comes to the question paper, you are already aware of the instructions, wherein you will have 5 sections, which includes MCQ questions, assertion-based questions, then 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks and 5 marks questions. Okay, so let us start with the physics questions. Question number 13 from the sample paper. A complete circuit is left on for several minutes, causing the connecting copper wire to become hot. As the temperature of the wire increases, the electrical resistance of the wire. The options are A, decreases, B, remains the same, C, increases, and D, increases for some time and then decreases. So, you all know that as the temperature increases, the resistivity of the metals, especially the wires, the connecting wires which are made up of metals, it increases, right? So, higher the temperature, higher will be the resistivity. And resistivity is proportional to resistance. So, when the current is flowing or due to the flow of electrons, these electrons will be moving erratically. Thereby, they will face more resistance. So, higher the temperature, what will happen to the electrical resistance? Of course, the electrical resistance will increase because therein the electrons will be moving more erratically facing higher resistance. Okay, so our correct option is option C. The electrical resistance of the wire will increase with the increase in the temperature. Coming to the next question, question number 14. A copper wire is held between the poles of a magnet. The current in the wire can be reversed. The pole of the magnet can also be changed over. In how many of the 4 directions shown can the force act on the wire? Let's see the options. Option A 1, option B 2, option C 3, option D 4. So as you can see in the figure, the wire is held between the poles of the magnet. And as per the question, the current can be reversed, even the poles of the magnet can be reversed. As per the Fleming's left-hand rule, we have already learned the force, the magnetic field and the current are mutually perpendicular to each other, right? And if the current is reversed, how many possibilities are there? There will be only 2 possibilities. Again, even the magnetic field, if it is reversed, again 2 possibilities are only there. So, as per the question, the force acting on the wire, in how many of the 4 directions it can? There are only 2 possibilities, either in the upward direction or in the downward direction, that is, one before the reversal of the current and then after the reversal, right? So, only 2 possibilities are possible here, that is, either in the upward direction or in the downward direction. That is, which is our correct option? Option B, 2. So, the 4 directions, out of the 4 directions, the force can act on the wire only in 2. That is either upwards or downwards, or either north or south direction. Clear? Coming to question number 15. Plastic insulation surrounds a wire having diameter D and length L as shown. A decrease in the resistance of the wire would be produced by an increase in the options are length L of the wire, diameter D of the wire, temperature of the wire, thickness of the plastic insulation. So here we are given the plastic insulated wire wherein the diameter is given and the length of the metal wire is given, right? So what is the answer for this? A decrease in the resistance of the wire. So as we all know, as per the expression, we have resistance is proportional to, that is directly proportional to length and inversely proportional to area of cross section, or we can say the diameter of the wire. Okay, so since it is inversely proportional, here the decrease in the resistance would be produced by an increase in what? Increase in the area or the diameter of the wire as per the expression. So we have the option here, option B, a decrease in the resistance of the wire would produce an increase. Since it is inversely proportional, it will have an increase in the diameter D of the wire. So our correct option is option B, D, diameter of the wire. Okay, coming to the next question. Question number 16. Which of the following pattern correctly describes the magnetic field around a long straight current carrying conductor? Right. Options are straight lines perpendicular to the wire. Option B, straight lines parallel to the wire. Option C, radial lines originating from the wire. And option D, concentric circles centered around the wire. Okay, so if we consider a straight conductor, right, we have done the activity when we have taken a straight conductor, okay, wherein this is the current in the upward direction. So how was the nature of the field lines produced over here? We know that they were concentric circles, right? They were concentric circles and this was the direction of the magnetic field. So what was the nature of the lines which were produced when a current was passing through a long straight wire? It was concentric circles which were centered around the wire. So which is our correct option? Option A is option D, concentric circles centered around the wire. Hope it is clear to you. Coming to the next questions. Okay, so we have again 1 mark question, that is the assertion reasoning questions wherein 2 statements are given and we have to find out the correct option. Okay, so assertion statement says, on freely suspending a current carrying solenoid, it comes to rest in geographical north-south direction. And the reason for that is given, one end of the current carrying straight solenoid behaves as a north pole and the other end as a south pole, just like a magnet. So we know that a solenoid, a current carrying solenoid behaves like a bar magnet itself, isn't it? So as per the assertion statements on freely suspending a current carrying solenoid, it comes to rest in the geographical north-south direction is a true statement because solenoid behaves like a magnet, bar magnet, Right. Now, what about the reason? One end of the current carrying straight solenoid behaves as a north pole, as we have seen, and the other end is the south pole. So, the reason for the assertion statement is also true. So, both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is the correct explanation for the assertion statement. So, we have option A, which says that both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation for A. Clear? Now, let's come to the next section, wherein we have question number 25 from section B carrying 2 marks. Okay. State the phenomena observed in the above diagram. Explain with reference to the diagram which of the two lights mentioned above will have the higher wavelength. There's an or question also. So, first of all, we'll go with the first one. So, here we can see a picture wherein a glass prism is given and a ray of light is passing through the prism. Right. So, we know that whenever a ray of light passes through a glass prism, what happens? The light ray, the white light, will split into its component colors. Which are the 7 component colors which are obtained? It will be in the order violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Right. So, these 7 colors are obtained. And what do we call that phenomena? The splitting up of white light into 7 colors, we call it as dispersion of light. Yes, you have learned already. So, the phenomena responsible here is dispersion of light, that is splitting of white light into its component colors. Clear? Now, coming to the second part of the question here, explain with reference to this diagram which of the two lights mentioned above will have the higher wavelength. Okay, higher the velocity, higher is the wavelength for a constant frequency. Right? So, here we know that yellow light will be having a higher velocity compared to blue light, and hence it will be having a higher wavelength. Red is having the maximum wavelength, but out of these given two lights, among yellow and blue light, we know that yellow light have the higher velocity, and hence yellow light will be having the higher wavelength compared to the blue light. Okay, coming to the next part of this question, that is the OR question here. How will you use two identical prisms so that a narrow beam of white light incident on one prism emerges out of the second prism as white light? Draw the diagram. So, let's go for it. We know that Newton has explained the phenomena, and wherein when two prisms were taken and one in an inverted position, right? One was kept in an inverted position. Okay, so we'll do it like this. One in an inverted position, and when a ray of light was passed through it, what happened? It will bend, it will split into 7 colors, and when this the component colors falls on the inverted prism, what will happen? Again it will bend and it will combine to give you the white light. Right? So, this was the white light, and when it passed through the prism, the glass prism, it splits into 7 colors. So, just now we have discussed that we call it as the dispersion of light. And then again when it is passed to a inverted prism, identical inverted prism, it again combines to give you this white light. Right. So, we have to keep two identical prism, one in an inverted position to get back this white light. So, this is the diagram. As you can see here, one prism is kept inverted to the other. These are two identical prisms. White light is passed through it. It splits into its component colors. Again, that component colors passes through this inverted prism to give you the white light again. I hope the question is clear. Coming to the next question. Question number 30. Rohit wants to have an erect image of an object using a converging mirror of focal length 40 centimeter. Okay. A. Specify the range of distance where the object can be placed in front of the mirror. Justify. B. Draw a ray diagram to show image formation in this case. C. State one use of the mirror based on the above kind of image formation. Okay. So, Rohit wants to have an erect image of an object using a converging mirror. Now, what's a converging mirror? Yes, it is concave mirror where all the rays of light after passing parallel will meet at a point that is called the focus. It converges at a point. That is why we call it as a converging mirror. Okay, so he has to obtain, or Rohit wants to have an erect image. Now, we have already learned the ray diagrams with the concave mirror, right? So, in that there is only one position of the object wherein we will be getting an erect image. And where was that? It was between the pole and the focus, right? So if you come to the diagram, this is the concave mirror. We have the principal axis. This is the focus. We are given the focal length, that is 40 centimeter. This point is called the pole, right? So whenever an object is placed between the pole and the focus, the first ray parallel to principal axis passes through the focus. The second ray, if we consider the fourth one, which is obliquely passing or meeting the pole and getting reflected obliquely again, and you extend it. So imaginary lines, extend it. It meets at a point where we get an erect image, right? So this is the image. This was our object. So whenever an object is placed between pole and the focus, in the case of concave mirror, you always get an erect image. And that's what Rohit wanted. He wants to have an erect image. So what is the range of the distance where the object be placed? You can see here the range is, that is from pole to, the range is between 0 to 40 centimeter. Right. So that is our first part of the question. The range of the distance is from 0 to 40 centimeter. Now, draw a ray diagram to show image formation in this case. So, we have seen the ray diagram over here, wherein we have kept the object between pole and focus. In the case of concave mirror, we got an erect, virtual and erect image and enlarged image, right? Coming to the third statement, that is, state one use of the mirror based on the above kind of image formation. Okay, we have learned so many uses of the concave mirror. Concave mirror is used by the dentist. Then it is used as reflectors, concentrators, etc., headlights of the cars or the vehicles, etc. So we have to write one use. So it is used by the dentists. Okay, clear? So here we can see the diagram of the concave mirror wherein the object is placed between pole and focus and we have obtained an erect image. I hope the question is clear to you. Coming to the next question, question number 31. A lens of focal length 5 centimeter is being used by Devashri in the laboratory as a magnifying glass. Magnifying glass, of course, the convex lens. Her least distance of distinct vision is 25 centimeter. What is the magnification obtained by using the glass? The second part of the question says, she keeps a book at a distance of 10 centimeter from her eyes and tries to read. She is unable to read. What is the reason for this? B part. Ravi kept a book at a distance of 10 centimeter from the eyes of his friend Hari. Hari is not able to read anything written in the book. Give reasons for this. Okay. So first of all, we have to find what is the magnification obtained by using the glass. So what is given here? Focal length is given, that is 5 centimeter, and least distance of distinct vision is given 25 centimeter. So here we have convex lens, the focal length is 5 centimeter, that is positive. Image distance, that is least distance of distinct vision, is the image distance which is given as 25 centimeter. To find the magnification, which is the formula we have to use, magnification is equal to V by U. So in that case we have V, but we have to find out U. So again we will be using the lens formula, that is 1 by F is equal to 1 by V minus 1 by U. And we have to find out U. So let's rearrange the terms. So 1 by U will be equal to 1 by V minus 1 by F. Let's substitute the values. So here we have 1 by U is equal to 1 by V. V is already given to you, that is negative 25. And the focal length is also given, that is 5. Right. So let's solve this question. So we have minus 1 by 25 minus of 1 by 5. Cross multiplying, we get minus 5 minus 25 by 25 into 5. That gives you minus 30 by 25 into 5. Now 30 and 5 are divisible. 5 6 times is 30. And we have to find out U, which is a reciprocal. So we get U equal to minus 25 by 6 centimeters. Right. Clear? So according to this, we have got U equal to minus 25 by 6 centimeters. So what will be the magnification? We already know the formula. Magnification is V by U. We are given V, that is minus 25. U is already given, minus 25 by 6. Cancelling 25, what we get? We get it as 6. And you know that magnification is the ratio of the similar physical quantities. It doesn't have any units. So magnification comes out to be 6. Okay, so let's come to the next part. She keeps a book at a distance of 10 centimeter. Now 10 centimeter here. Okay, we have got u equal to minus 25 by 6 and image is already given minus 25 centimeter, which is the least distance of distinction. And we know for a normal human eye, the least distance of distinction is 25 centimeter. Less than that, the person will not be able to read properly. So here the distance given was 10 centimeter. That is why she is not able to read properly. Okay, and again in the third part, that is B part, Ravi kept a book at a distance of 10 centimeter from the eyes of Hari and he is not able to read anything. The reason is the same. The distance is given to be 10 centimeter, which is less than 25 centimeter. That is the least distance of distinction for a normal human eye. So again, Hari will not be able to read anything if it is kept less than 25 centimeter. Okay, so coming to the next question. Question number 32. A student fixes a white sheet of paper on a drawing board. He places a bar magnet in the center and sprinkles some iron fillings uniformly around the bar magnet. Then he taps gently and observes that iron fillings arrange themselves in a certain pattern. Now the question says, why do iron fillings arrange themselves in a particular pattern? B part, which physical quantity is indicated by the pattern of field lines around the bar magnet? And C, state any two properties of magnetic field lines. Okay, so we have learned all about the magnetic force and the magnetic field, right? So in this case, when a bar magnet is kept, okay, so let us see, when a bar magnet is kept on a white sheet of paper, it has got the poles north and south, right? And when we sprinkle some iron fillings around it, what may happen? You know that there is a region around this magnet where a magnetic force is experienced. And because of that magnetic force, when we sprinkle these iron fillings, they also will be experiencing this magnetic force and hence they will behave like tiny magnets. Okay, and because of this magnetic force, due to these tiny magnets, that is the iron fillings, they will arrange themselves in a circular pattern. And what type of pattern? They will be forming closed curves. And how is the magnetic field lines arranging themselves? Outside the magnet, they will start from the north and merge at the south pole. Okay, outside the magnet, they will start from the north and merge at the south, and inside, of course, from south to north. And you will find that the concentration of the magnetic field lines will be maximum at the poles of the magnet. Okay, so you will find here the concentration will be maximum. Right. Okay, so what happens here is around the bar magnet, the iron fillings will be acting like tiny magnets, and that is why they arrange themselves in a definite pattern, that is the closed curves will be formed over here, right? And that is all because of the magnetic force which is experienced. Right. Now, what was our second question? Which physical quantity is indicated by the pattern of field lines around the bar magnet? So, around the bar magnet, the magnetic force is experienced, right? So, which physical quantity is that? We have already learned it is the magnetic field, the region surrounding the magnet where a magnetic force is felt or influenced is what we call it as the magnetic field, right? Coming to the last part, that is state any two properties of magnetic field lines. Okay, we have learned so many properties of magnetic field lines. Out of that, we have to mention any two. So, we already said according to this concept, that is the magnetic field lines arrange themselves in closed curves or concentric circles, right? Then, what about the concentration? The concentration of the magnetic field lines will be maximum at the poles of the magnet. Also, we can see that no two field lines will ever intersect each other, because if they do, then the compass needle will have to show two directions, which is not possible, right? So, these are some of the properties of the magnetic field lines. And also, we have learned that the magnetic field lines will emerge from the North Pole and merge at the South Pole outside the magnet, and inside it will be from south to north. So, as per the question, we have to mention any two properties. Out of these four, you can mention any two properties. The simplest one, no two field lines will ever intersect each other. And of course, the magnetic field lines will always form closed curves or concentric circles. Okay, that's an odd question here. A compass needle is placed near a current carrying wire. State your observations for the following cases and give reasons for the same in each case. A. Magnitude of the electric current in the wire is increased. B. The compass needle is displaced away from the wire. So, a compass needle is placed near a current carrying wire. So, what will happen when a compass needle is placed near a current carrying wire? We know that the needle will show deflection, right? So, if you increase the magnitude of the current, what may happen? Again, the deflection will increase. The deflection of the needle will increase as the magnitude of the electric current in the wire is increased, right? Then, what if the compass needle is displaced away from the wire? Of course, it will decrease. The deflection of the compass needle will decrease since it is inversely proportional to the distance, right? The magnetic field and the current is inversely proportional to the distance. So, that is why if you move the compass needle away from the wire, the deflection in the compass needle will decrease. Clear? Coming to the next question. Okay, we have question number 36 wherein a household circuit is shown. Okay, the diagram above is a schematic diagram of a household circuit. The house shown in the above diagram has 5 usable spaces as mentioned here, wherein electrical connections are made. For this house, the mains have a voltage of 220 volt and the net current coming from the mains is 22 ampere. What is the mode of connection to all the spaces in the house from the mains? Okay, so we have already learnt about the domestic circuits. What is the mode of connection in the domestic household circuits? Yes, it is always parallel connection, right? And we have already learned the advantages of parallel connection, right? So, which is the mode of connection to all the spaces here? Since it is a household circuit, the connection will be parallel, right? That's a very simple and very important question. Coming to the next question. The spaces 5 and 4 have the same resistance and spaces 3 and 2 have respective resistances of 20 ohm and 30 ohm. Space 1 has a resistance double that of space 5. What is the net resistance for space 5? Right. So, what are the quantities given? We have spaces 5 and 4 which is having the same resistance. 3 and 2 have resistance of 20 and 30 ohm. So, let's do this question now. So, what is given? Let's consider the resistance for space 5 and space 4 which is given to be equal as R. Right. Now, what about space 3 and space 2? We have space 3 as a resistance given as 20 ohm. Space 2 has a resistance of 30 ohm. So, here we have space 3 that is resistance 3 is 20 ohm and space 2 has a resistance of 30 ohm, right? Now, what about space 1? We have space 1 has a resistance that is double that of space 5. Okay. So, space 1 that is resistance 1 is double that of space 5 that comes out to be 2R. And we have to find the net resistance for space 5. That is, we have to find out R. So, already we are given the voltage that is 220 volt and the current is already given that is 22 ampere. So, from here, what is the net resistance here? We get it as R equal to V by I as per Ohm's law, right? Substituting the values, 220 by 22 gives you 10 ohm as the resistance, right? So, let us solve this question now further. Okay, so we have the formula for the parallel resistance, that is 1 by Rp equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 plus 1 by R4 plus 1 by R5, right? Substituting the value. So Rp already we have Rp equal to 10 ohm. So we get it as 1 by 10 is equal to 1 by R1. R1 is given to be 2R. Right. Then R2 is given to be 30 ohm. R3 is given to be 20 ohm. R4 is given to be R, even equal to R5, that is also R, right? So let's solve these questions. So 1 by 10 is equal to, so let's combine these terms now. So 1 by 2R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R will give you 2 by R, and we have 1 by 2R here. And combining these two terms, what we get? So we have 20 plus 30 by 30 into 20. By cross multiplying, we get this value, right? So 1 by 10 is equal to 20 plus 30 gives you 50 by 600 plus. Solving for these two, 2R, we have 1 plus R goes with 2R 2 times, so 2 into 2 is 4, right? So 1 by 10 is equal to 50 by 600. We can reduce it and it gives you 5, 12 times is 60. So 5, 1, 1 and 2, 1 by 12, correct? And here 4 plus 1 we get it as 5 by 2R. Now again combining the terms, what we get? 1 by 10, taking 1 by 12 to the other side, minus 1 by 12 equal to 5 by 2R. Okay. So we get it as, again rearranging, 5 by 2R is equal to 12 minus 10 by 10 into 12 gives you 5 by 2R is equal to 2 by 10 into 12. That is reducible to 6 times is 12. Taking the reciprocal, what we get? 2R by 5 is equal to 10 into 6 is 60 by 1, which gives you 60. So R comes out to be 60 into 5 by 2. So how much we get? 2, 3 times is 6, so 30 times is 60. 5 into 30 is 150. So we get the value of R, that is for the net resistance of space 5 as well as for space 4 actually is 150 ohm. Right. So this is our first part of the question. Now coming to the second part, what we have to find out is what is the current in space 3. Okay. So let's go for it. Space 3 has a resistance of 20 ohm, right? Space 3 has a resistance of 20 ohm, right? And we have to find the current in space 3. So let's go for it now. So here we are given R3 equal to 20 ohm and we have to find out the current. So we know that V is given to be 220 volt. So as per Ohm's law, we have V equal to IR. So what will be I here? I will be equal to V by R. That gives you 220 divided by 20 and it comes out to be 11 amperes. So the current in space 3 comes out to be 11 ampere. Clear? Now coming to the next question. What should be placed between the main connection and the rest of the house's electrical appliances to save them from accidental high electric current? So we know that there are some few safety devices which we use to protect the domestic circuit and the appliances in the houses. And what is that? We can use electrical fuses or MCBs. So here we can use an electric fuse which can be placed between the main connection and the rest of the house's electrical appliances to save from all the accidental high electric current, that is either by short circuiting or overloading, etc. Okay, coming to the next question. Question number 39. The above images are that of a specialized slide projector. Slides are small transparencies mounted in sturdy frames ideally suited to magnification and projection since they have a very high resolution and a high image quality. There is a tray where the slides are to be put in a particular orientation so that the viewers can see the enlarged erect images of the transparent slides as you can see in the figure, right? The question says further, this means that the slides will have to be inserted upside down in the projector tray to show her students the images of insects that she investigated in the lab. Mrs. Iyer brought a slide projector. Her slide projector produced a 500 times enlarged and inverted image of a slide on a screen, which is 10 meters away. So, which are the questions following? Based on the text and the data given in the above paragraph, what kind of lens must the slide projector have? So, here, what is done? The slides will have to be inserted upside down so that we get an image, right? And her slide projector produces a 500 times enlarged and inverted image. So, to get a real and inverted image, what type of lens we are using? Yes, it is the converging lens, that is the convex lens here. So, here we are using the convex lens, right? So, based on the above given passage, we can find out that the lens which the slide projector must have is the convex lens to get a real and inverted image. If V is the symbol used for image distance and U for the object distance, then with one reason, state what will be the sign for V, U in the given case. So, we know that it is a real and inverted image. That means, as per the sign convention, the sign for V, that is the image distance, will be always negative. Right. What about U? We know that U is always kept on the left-hand side, right? That is, the object is always kept on the left-hand side. So, the sign convention for U also will be negative. It is always taken as negative as per the sign conventions. Okay, so the sign for V and U in the given case will be U is negative and V is also negative. Okay, coming to the next question. A slide projector has a convex lens with a focal length of 20 centimeter. The slide is placed upside down 21 centimeter from the lens. How far away should the screen be placed from the slide projector's lens so that the slide is in focus? There's an OR question also. When a slide is placed 15 centimeter behind the lens in the projector, an image is formed 3 meter in front of the lens. If the focal length of the lens is 14 centimeter, draw a ray diagram to show the image formation, which should not be up to the scale. Okay, let's go for this question. A slide projector has a convex lens with a focal length of 20 centimeter. And what else is given? The slide is placed upside down 21 centimeter from the lens. So, what is given? Focal length, right? Focal length is given to be 20 centimeter, and for a convex lens, we know that as per sign convention, it is taken as positive. What about the object distance? It is given 21 centimeter, and object distance is always taken as negative, right? And what we have to find out here? We have to find how far away should the screen be placed. That means we have to find the image distance, that is V. Okay, so let's solve this question now. So we have to find out V. So as per the lens formula, what we have? 1 by F is equal to 1 by V minus 1 by U, right? Substituting the values, 1 by 20 is equal to 1 by V minus of 1 by minus 21. Or we get 1 by 20 is equal to 1 by V, minus into minus will become plus, that gives you 1 by 21. We have to find out V. So, rearranging the terms, what we get? 1 by V is equal to 1 by 20 minus of 1 by 21. Cross multiplying, we get 21 minus 20 by 20 into 21. Or 1 by V comes out to be 21 minus 20 is 1, 20 into 21. So, what do you get? 212, 224, we get it as 420, right? So 20 into 21 comes out to be 420, right? Or taking the reciprocal, we get the value of V to be equal to 420 centimeter, right? Clear? So V comes out to be 420 centimeter. Now, which is the next part of the question? When a slide is placed 15 centimeter behind the lens in the projector, so behind the lens in the projector, an image is formed 3 meter in front of the lens. If the focal length of the lens is 14 centimeter, we have to draw a ray diagram to show the image formation which should not be up to the scale. So, let us draw the ray diagram here, which is not up to the scale. So, what all are given? Let's take the given values once again. Here it is placed, slide is placed 15 centimeter behind the lens in the projector and an image is formed 3 meter in front of the lens. Focal length is already given 14 centimeter. Okay. So, for a convex lens, let's draw this convex lens. This is the principal axis. We have the optic center F1 through F1, F2 and to F2, right? Okay, now as per the given values, where should we keep the object? The focal length is given to be 14 centimeter, right? As per the question, what is the focal length given? The focal length of the lens is given to be 14 centimeter and a slide is placed 15 centimeter behind the lens and image is formed 3 meter in front of the lens. Okay, so here we are keeping the object, that is the slide, 15 centimeter. That means it should be between F1 and 2F1. So, we are keeping the slide here. The ray, first ray parallel to principal axis passes through the focus, right? Now, when the object is between F1 and 2F1, where should we get the image? It should be from beyond 2F2, right? So, the second ray we are taking, which passes through optic center and it will meet somewhere here, right? Okay, make it much more clear. So, here we have, okay, so we get the image over here which is inverted, right? And this is our object, right? So, this is the diagram which we get for the convex lens, right? And this is given to be 15 centimeter. Right? Okay. So, this is the diagram which we get for the question B part. When a slide is placed 15 centimeter behind the lens in the projector, image form 3 meter in front of the lens. And if the focal length is already given 14 centimeter, we have drawn the ray diagram which is not up to the scale. Okay. So, I hope all the questions are clear to you. These were the questions from physics part from the sample paper, the latest sample paper issued by CBSE board. Okay. So, try out these questions. You will be getting the board exam paper almost similar to these type of papers. Okay. And we will be coming up with more discussions, question paper discussions in the further sessions. So, that's all for now. We are wrapping up our session today. Thank you.
Hi my dear students, welcome to the session. So today we are going to discuss some sample questions based on your current pattern. Okay, and you know that you have 5 chapters to study in your syllabus. Okay, so from all those chapters we are selecting some sort of questions and that kind of question that we are going to discuss here. Okay, so let's see. So, you know well about the total score and the duration of your exam, okay, and the common instructions, right. Let's see the questions first. So, first one, in the given transverse section of the leaf, identify the layer of cells where maximum photosynthesis will occurs. Okay, and you know that from this figure, it is clear that it is actually the anatomy of a dicot leaf. Okay, which is actually a dicot leaf. Okay, a dicot leaf is that you can observe in this figure. Okay, so for this dicot leaf, it will be having certain anatomical peculiarities that first we have to identify each of these parts which is labeled as 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we have to read the question. Okay, so first each of the part that you have to identify. So this is somewhat the epidermal layers that you can see. Okay, in anatomy of a leaf that you know, it will be having an upper and a lower epidermis, and in between that you can find the ground tissue, right? So the ground tissue is actually mesophyll cells, okay, in which photosynthesis will take place, that you know, right? So that mesophyll, the ground tissue will be differentiated into two type of cells. Okay, the mesophyll cell is differentiated into two type of cells, that is, it is differentiated into upper palisade and lower spongy tissues. Okay, so this is actually the information. So first you have to identify these labelings. Okay, and here you can see the first one, this is the what? Upper epidermis. Okay, upper epidermis. Then you have to you can see the mesophyll area. Okay, the mesophyll tissue, and it is differentiated into an upper elongated group of cells and a lower spherical tissues or cells. Okay, and this upper elongated cells are called as what? Palisade. Okay, palisade mesophyll, and this lower spherical cells are called as what? Spongy mesophyll. Okay, palisade and spongy mesophyll, and here you can see the stomata. Okay, so this is the lower epidermis. Okay, lower epidermis. Okay, so you now you know the different regions labeled as 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the question is that what? Identify the layer of cells where maximum photosynthesis occurs. So, maximum photosynthesis will occur in which kind of cells? That you know, the mesophyll cells, right? The palisade and the spongy mesophyll cell. Okay, they are actually the site of photosynthesis. Okay, so you can choose the options as 2 and 3. Okay, that is 2 and 3. So, this will be the correct option for this question. Okay, so this is actually a 1 mark question, right? So you can just choose the, which is an MCQ type question. So you can just choose the options from this figure, right? So which is very simple. And the next question. Observe the experimental setup shown below. Okay, here you can see an experimental setup, a potted plant, and X, which is an undefined material is present near that plant. So question is that name the chemical indicated as X. Okay, so you have to name this chemical indicated here in the figure as X, and the peculiarity of that chemical is that it can absorb the gas which is evolved as a byproduct of respiration. Okay, so as a process of respiration taking place, what is the gas which is releasing as a byproduct of respiration? Which is the gas? Yes, it is the carbon dioxide. Okay, CO2 is the byproduct of respiration. Right. So, the chemical X indicated here, which can absorb, which have the ability to absorb the gas which is evolved as a byproduct of respiration. So, this chemical can absorb this CO2 gas, right? So, which one is that chemical? That you have to identify here. Okay, so whether it is NaOH, KOH, CaOH twice, then K2CO3. Which is that chemical? Yes, it is the KOH. Okay. Potassium hydroxide. Okay, so which is the chemical which can absorb this carbon dioxide gas? Okay, so from this experimental setup, you can identify that KOH is present here. Okay, KOH is present here to absorb the gas, that is eliminating from this plant, that is releasing from this plant, that is CO2. Okay, this can be absorbed by this chemical KOH. Okay, so the answer is KOH, right? Then, if a tall pea plant is crossed with a pure dwarf pea plant, then what percentage of F1 and F2 generation respectively will be tall? Okay, so you have to identify what percentage of tall plants are present in F1 and F2 generations. Okay, so here you can depict that you have to remember the hybridization experiment. Okay, the monohybrid grows by Grigor-Johann mental. So, if a tall pea plant, we can consider that tall pea plant as capital TT, okay, which is crossed with a pure dwarf pea plant, okay, we can assume it as a small TT, okay, then it will be getting crossed. Then, what will be the F1 generation, okay, when these two plants are crossed, the tall and the dwarf plants, when they are getting crossed, then what will be getting? So, here you can get the gamete as capital T and here the gamete as small t, right? And when they are crossed, then we'll get the capital T small t. This is the what? This is the F1 generation plant. And you know that this is tall and this is dwarf. These are homozygous parents, okay, pure plants. But the F1 generation will get the offspring as a heterozygous condition, okay. So, this is a heterozygous, that is both the alleles are different, okay. Here both the alleles are similar, but here the both the alleles are different, right. So, this is a heterozygous offspring, and this is here you know that based on the law of dominance, this capital T will be dominant over the small t. So, this offspring will express only the dominant character. So, the character of the capital T, that is tallness, is expressing here. So, this plant F1 generation is again tall. So, all the plants which is forming in the F1 generation are tall. Okay, so we will get 100% tall in F1 generation, that you can say. Okay, then after F1, we will get F2 generation by the self-pollination or self-crossing of the F1 generation. Okay, selfing of the F1. So, we are taking this F1 plant as the parent. Okay, two F1 plants are taking, and we'll get two type of gametes, right. So, because they are heterozygous in condition, the alleles are heterozygous. So, we'll get two type of gametes. Then we are crossing these gametes. Then capital T, capital T, capital T, small t. Then here again capital T, small t, and the small t, small t. Okay. So, four different offsprings we are getting in what? In F2 generation. This is F2 generation. Okay. And here you can see this plant is homozygous, but it is tall, right? And this is heterozygous, but it is again expressing tallness. It is heterozygous, but again tall. But this is what? Homozygous recessive. That is, this is the dwarf plant. Okay. So, we will get 1, 2, 3. Out of 4 plants, 3 were tall and only 1 is getting as a dwarf plant. Okay. So, we can get the ratio as 3:1. That is, if 100 offsprings are forming, 75% are tall and only 25% are dwarf, right. So, you can choose in F2 generation, will get 75% of tall plants, right. So, the options are given here. From this, you can choose option D as the correct one. Okay. In F1 generation, we'll get 100% tall characters. In F2 generation, you'll get only 75% of tall character. Okay. Only 25% will remain dwarf in F2 generation, right. So, this will be the answer. Then, next question. Observe the 3 figures given below. You can see A, B, C, and which of the following depicts tropic movements appropriately. Okay, tropic movements. You know that what are tropic movements? Okay, that is the movements exhibited by the plants according to a particular stimulus, right? If light can be acting as a stimulus, okay, then water will be acting as a stimulus, okay, anything. A touch will be a stimulus, okay. Based on the different type of stimulus, the plants will given or they will show some movements. Okay, they are called as what? Tropic movements according to the direction of that stimulus. Okay, so in these figures A, B and C, you can see a potted plant, and in figure A, you can see the roots are growing downwards and the stem and leaves are also growing downwards. Okay, so this is not a kind of a tropic movement, I think. Then in B, what will be the movement? Both the roots and stems are always growing towards the upward region. Both the things are going in the same direction. Okay, then in option C, what will be the condition? The roots are growing towards the downward region, that is towards the gravity the roots are growing. Okay, towards gravity the roots are growing. And the leaves and stems are growing towards the upward direction. That is, suppose it will be growing towards the light. Okay, so they will be growing like this. So, which figure will depict the
tropic movement correctly? Which will be the answer? That is option C will correctly depict the tropic movements, right? So, the geotropism and the phototropism, right? It can be a phototropic movement, right? So, you can choose option C as the correct one. That is C only, okay, actually depicting the tropic movement in plants. Then next, we have a figure. So, the diagram shown below depicts pollination. Okay, this is about pollination, and choose the options that will show a maximum variation in the offspring. Okay, so you can see that pollination, that you know, there are mainly two types of pollination. They are self-pollination and what will be the other one? Self-pollination, and we have cross-pollination, right? So, in self-pollination, what will happens? In self-pollination, what will happens? In self-pollination, the pollen grains from anthers of a flower will be deposited on the stigma of the same flower, right? Or the same plant. Okay, it can be a self-pollination. But in cross-pollination, two plants are involving. Okay, in self-pollination, only one single plant is getting involved. But in cross-pollination, two different plants are involving. So, there will be more variation. In cross-pollination, you can find more variation because one species of a plant will be having one kind of pollen grains that will be getting deposited on another species of plant. Okay, the stigma of another species of plant. So, there will be some sort of variation, right? And in self-pollination also, there are two types of self-pollination. Okay, that is, there are two types of self-pollination. That is, one will be autogamy and the other one will be geitonogamy. So, what is the difference between autogamy and geitonogamy? That means in autogamy, a single flower is getting involved. Okay, that is, the pollen grains from a single flower. Okay, the pollen grains from this flower is getting deposited on the stigma of the same flower. Okay, so the pollination will happen. So, this is a kind of what? Autogamy. A single flower is getting involved. But in geitonogamy, a single plant is getting involved. So, that is, the pollen grains of one flower is getting deposited on the stigma of the another flower of the same plant. Okay, so that is the difference between autogamy and geitonogamy. Both are self-pollinations, right? But in cross-pollination, you can call other term, that is xenogamy. Xenogamy. Okay, that means what happens? The anther, that is the pollen grains from the anther of one flower will getting deposited on the stigma of another flower of a different plant or a different species. Okay, so two plants are getting involved in this cross-pollination or xenogamy. So, you can find more variation in where? Okay, so here you can see this will be the A, B, C and D is depicting here. So, this will be A. Okay, so the A will be what kind of pollination? It will be a self-pollination, that is autogamy, a single flower. The pollen grains will deposit on the stigma of the same flower. Okay, so this will be what? Autogamy. Right, a kind of self-pollination. And in B, what happens? The pollen grains of one flower getting deposited on the stigma of another flower of a different plant. So, this will be xenogamy, or you can say it as a cross-pollination, right? And in C, what will happen? A single plant is getting involved, but two flowers, okay, two different flowers. So, the pollen grains of one flower getting deposited on the stigma of another flower of the same plant. So, this is a kind of geitonogamy. Okay, this is a kind of geitonogamy. Okay, again a self-pollination, right? Autogamy and geitonogamy are self-pollination. And here you can see the pollen grains of this flower getting deposited on the pollen grains stigma of another flower of different plant. So, this will be again xenogamy, that is cross-pollination. These B and D, they are both cross-pollination, right? Cross-pollination. Okay, so question is that choose the options that will show maximum variation in the offspring. So, in xenogamy, you can see that the involvement of two different plants or species of plants are getting involved in xenogamy, that is in cross-pollination. So, there you can expect more variation than the self-pollination kinds, autogamy and geitonogamy. Okay, there will be, we cannot expect much variations. Okay, they will be exact kind that of their parent plant. Okay, but in cross-pollination, you can expect more variations. Okay, so in which type of, in A, B, C and D, okay, in which one you can expect more variation? In B and D. Okay, so you can choose the option B as B and D. In B and D, both are cross-pollination, xenogamy. There you can expect more variation, right? The next question, that is question number 17 to 20 are assertion reasoning type of question. Okay, so these consist of two statements, one assertion and one reason statements are given for you, and answer this question selecting the appropriate options. Okay, so you are given with the assertion and a reason. Okay, then you can analyze the assertion and reason, and you can choose if the assertion and reason are true and reason will be the correct explanation of the assertion. You can choose option A. Okay, if both assertion and reason are true and the reason is not the correct explanation of A, then you can choose option B as the answer. Then if assertion is true but reason is false, then you can choose option C. And if assertion is false but the reason is true, then you can choose option D. Okay, so this is a kind of assertion reason type of question. Let's see the assertion and reasons first. Assertion, height in pea plants is controlled by efficiency of enzymes and is thus genetically controlled. Okay, so height means it is actually a character. Height is a particular character found in pea plant. That character will be controlled by the efficiency of enzymes and is thus genetically controlled, right? So, a character is controlled by certain proteins, and the proteins are developing from certain DNA, that is the genetic material. Okay, so if the pea plant will be having a particular DNA content, okay, from this DNA it will getting produced RNA, right? And from this mRNA, from this RNA, it will producing certain proteins, okay, and proteins will be sometimes act as certain enzymes. Okay, so these proteins or these enzymes are controlling what? A particular character in every organism. Okay, so here height will be a character, right? So this height, this character will be controlled by these certain things, proteins, enzymes, RNA and DNA. Okay, so they are genetically controlled. Yes, it is true. The statement is true. Then reason, cellular DNA is the information source for making proteins in the cell. Okay, as I already written in this, right? So that the DNA is the information source. DNA is the genetic material. Okay, this is the genetic material. So, using this genetic material, the proteins are being synthesized. Okay, so these proteins are specifically helping for a particular character to express in these pea plants, right? So both the assertion and reason are true in the sense, right? So you can choose option A as the correct one. Assertion and reason are correct and the reason is the correct explanation of the assertion, right? Okay. Then next question, assertion. Amphibians can tolerate mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay, you know amphibians, they are a category of organism. They can tolerate in their heart, they can tolerate the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay, so we know that in human beings, we have 4 different heart chambers. Okay, so we cannot expect any mixing of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay, so for that our heart is being well equipped with the 4 chambers, right? So but in amphibians there can occur this mixing of this oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So the assertion is true. Okay, and the reason, amphibians are animals with a 2-chambered heart. Okay, so the amphibians are actually, their heart will be 3-chambered. Is it right? No. So, the assertion is true, but the reason is false, right? So, you can choose option C. Okay, that is assertion is true, but the reason is false. So, you can choose option C as the correct answer. Okay. Then, section B. Okay, so section B carrying 2 marks for each of the questions. Okay, so how is the mode of action in beating of a heart different from reflex actions? Give 4 examples. Okay, you know that heart beating of heart as well as reflex actions. Okay, so heartbeat or beating of heart. Heart beating, that you know, this heart beating is an involuntary action. Okay, involuntary. It is an involuntary action, and you know that obviously the reflex action is also involuntary. Reflex action, that is also involuntary. Okay, that is without our conscious level or without our controlling level, it will happen. But this reflex action always will be in association with a stimulus. Okay, according to a particular stimulus only, the reflex action is being happen. Okay, a reaction is being happen, right? So this is stimulus dependent. A stimulus, it needs a stimulus. Okay, but it is involuntary. But heart beating is involuntary action. We cannot control heartbeats, right? But it does not need any stimulus. Not need any kind of stimulus to beat the heart, right? So that is also right. Then what will happen? Heart beating, that will be controlled by our brain. Okay, so brain is actually the controlling center, but the reflex actions are controlled by what? The spinal cord is actually controlling the reflex action. And in heart beating, association of skeletal muscles. Okay, skeletal muscles are associated with the heart beating. But in reflex action, in heart beating, skeletal muscles are not involving, right? So skeletal muscles are involved. Skeletal muscles are involved in reflex action. Okay, skeletal muscles are involved, but in heart beating, it does not require any kind of skeletal muscles. Okay, and heart beating is a process which will be continuous throughout our life. That also you can add here. Okay, but reflex actions will happen only when a stimulus is being present. Okay, only according to a particular stimulus, a reflex action will happen. Okay, so and heartbeat is always a quick process. It can be a quick as well as slow, but reflex action is always quick. Okay, reflex action is always very a quick response, but heart beating will be slow in some times, or it can be very quick as a normal one. Okay, so these are the reasons, or these are the differences between a heart beating and a reflex action. Okay, then patients whose gallbladder are removed are recommended to eat less oily food. What? Why? What is the reason for this recommendation? Okay, you know that what is gallbladder. Okay, so gallbladder, which is actually storing what? Which is a kind of a juice, that is bile juice. Very good. So gallbladder will store bile as a juice. Bile juice, it will store bile juice. And what is the role of this bile juice actually in the gallbladder? It will emulsify the fat content. Okay, so emulsification or digestion of fat or lipids, that is actually the function of this bile juice that is present inside this gallbladder. So we are removing this gallbladder. Then what will happen? The bile juice will get absent in the gallbladder. Bile juice will not produce in this or stored in the gallbladder. Then what will happen? The digestion of the fat content. Okay, so the fat contents in our food or diet, okay, that will not getting properly digested. So the fat absorption, fat digestion will be affected. Okay, it will be a very slow process. Okay, without this gallbladder, fat digestion will be affected. It will be very slowly occurring, this fat digestion or emulsification of fat. Okay, so that is why we are recommended to eat, or we are recommended to use a food with a less oil content. Okay, if you are removing this gallbladder. Okay, then next question. Name the substances other than water that are reabsorbed during urine formation. Okay, so during the formation of urine, you know that water is the main component that is being reabsorbed. So along with the water content, what are the other substances that is being the essential elements that is being reabsorbed? Okay, what are the essential elements? Yes, that is glucose, right? Glucose and amino acids. Glucose and amino acids. These are the essential elements that are being reabsorbed during the formation of urine. Okay, so these are the elements. And what are the two parameters? Okay, the parameters that decides the amount of water that is being reabsorbed in the kidney. So what is the basis of this reabsorption of water? Okay, what are the parameters? Okay, so that is one thing is that the amount of water that is present in the body, that is the one parameter. Okay, that is the amount of water that is present in our body. How much amount of water is being present in our body? That is one parameter for the reabsorption. And the second one is that the amount of the sum total of the waste materials that is being dissolved. Okay, that has to be excreted. Okay, so the amount of waste dissolved in water, okay, that is to be excreted. Right, that is also another parameter. Okay, so based on these two parameters, what will happen? The amount of water that is being reabsorbed in the kidney. Okay, so that will decide the amount of water that has to be reabsorbed in the kidney. Okay, these are the two parameters, and the elements that is being reabsorbed are glucose and amino acid along with the water content. Right. Then, a lot of waste is generated in neighborhood. Okay, waste generation. And however, almost all the kind of wastes are biodegradable waste materials. That you know, what are biodegradable waste materials? Right. So they are the waste materials, they can be biologically degradable. Okay, by the nature itself. Okay, by the action of different type of microorganisms and all. These kind of biodegradable waste materials can biologically degrade. Naturally, they will get degraded. Okay, by nature. But it will be a slow process. It will take some time to degrade the materials, right? Then, what impact will it have on the environment or human health? Biodegradable materials are okay, but their excess accumulation of these biodegradable materials, okay, so they will badly affect the environmental condition. How it will affect our environment? Okay, so this biodegradable waste materials, when they are accumulated, since they are a slow process, okay, slowly the waste materials will getting degraded. So, since it is a slow process, it will produce a foul smell. Okay, it will produce a foul smell, as well as what will happen? A different kind of non-useful gases will be eliminating. Okay, it will release a foul smell, as well as different gases will getting released into the atmosphere. And when they are accumulated more, then what will happen? It will be acting as a breeding ground for different germs. Okay, breeding ground for germs. That will create an unhygienic condition, environment. Unhygienic environment. Right. So, this will be the effects or impact. Okay. So, what will be the impact these biodegradable waste materials have on the environment or human health? Okay. It will produce a foul smell, and gases will be getting eliminated. They are not useful for us. Okay. And that area, okay, in which the biodegradable materials are getting accumulated more and more, that will create a breeding ground for different type of germs, and that will create an unhygienic or unhealthy environment or condition surroundings, right? So, these are the main impacts. Then, we are going to deal with the questions on section C. Okay, so this will be carrying 3 marks question. Okay, each of the questions will carry 3 marks. So, the question is, the leaves of a plant were covered with the aluminium foil. Okay, so we know that the plant leaves, okay, plant leaves are the major site for what? Photosynthesis. And you know that photosynthesis is the main process in plants, okay, because plants are autotrophic, so they can synthesize their own food, okay, by means of photosynthesis. So, if leaves are not present, or here you can see the leaves are covered with the aluminium foil, Okay, if the leaf is there, it will be covered with an aluminium foil. Then what will happen? Okay, what will happen to this plant? The photosynthesis does not occur first, right? Photosynthesis does not occur. Okay, then how would it affect the physiology of the plant? That is a question. Okay, so this covering of this aluminium foil will, how it will affect the physiology? First, we know that photosynthesis does not occur in plants. Then, as a result of this, okay, as a result of hindrance in this photosynthesis, glucose is not being developed inside the plants. Okay, that is, glucose is not produced. Glucose are not produced. Glucose are the main products of photosynthesis. They are not produced. So, the plant does not get enough food for their growth, right? So, that will affect the entire plant, right? As well as these photosynthesis does not occur, glucose does not produce, and as a result of photosynthesis, oxygen gas is being getting evolved, right? So, that oxygen the plant can utilize for their respiration. So, respiration is also getting hindered. Okay, respiration is also getting affected. Okay, so it cannot utilize that enough oxygen, and it cannot release correct amount of carbon dioxide to the environment, right? Then what will happen? What will happen? Then transpiration is also a process related with the plants. Okay, transpiration. Transpiration, you know that what is transpiration? It is actually the elimination of water content in the form of water vapors from the surface of the aerial parts of the plant. Okay, that is from the surface of the leaves, right? That is transpiration. And when the leaves are not present, they will be covered with the aluminium foil. What will happen? Transpiration does not occur. Okay, it does not occur. Then water content will not getting eliminated. If transpiration happens only, what will happen? Water will get eliminated, and the plant have to absorb more water from the soil through the roots. Only the transpiration will happen. Okay, that is a relationship between transpiration and water absorption, that you know, right? So, if transpiration does not occur, what will happen? Okay, the water absorption is also getting affected. Okay, so the transpiration pull does not happens. Only by the transpiration pull, the plant roots can absorb more water from the soil. Okay, so transpiration pull is also getting eliminated. Transpiration pull, okay, it will get hindered or it will get decreased. So, water absorption is also getting hindered. Water absorption is also getting decreased for these plants. Okay, so the overall physiology of the plant will get have a bad effect when the leaves will be covered with an aluminium foil. Okay, so these will be the answer. Okay, and also the temperature regulation of the leaf surface is also getting very much badly affected by this process, right? Then, in this question, you have an OR question too. Okay, so you can attempt any one of these questions. Okay, so how is lymph an important fluid involved in transportation? Okay, you know that lymph is also a body fluid like that of a blood, right? So, lymph will be having a lymphatic system, lymph vessels, lymph ducts and lymph capillaries will be there, right? So, if lymphatic vessel get blocked, if the lymphatic vessels will get blocked, how would it affect the human body? That you have to elaborate in your answer. Okay, so that is the question. So, you know that lymph. So, what is actually the function of lymph? That you have to remember first. Okay, lymph will carry the digested and the absorbed fat from our intestine. Okay, so it will carry, lymph will carry digested and absorbed fat content from our intestine. That is one function of lymph. Then what will be the other function? It will drain out the excess amount of fluid from the extracellular spaces. Okay, that is back into the blood. Okay, so it will drain out excess fluid, excess amount of fluid from extracellular spaces back into the blood. Okay, that is also another function of lymph. So, if the lymphatic vessel will get blocked, what will happen? The water retention as well as the fat absorption will get hindered. Okay, so water retention capacity, water retention as well as the fat absorption will get affected. Okay, so the fat absorption will be a very slow process. Okay, so that will be the effects in human body if the lymphatic vessels will get blocked. That we have to elucidate in your answer. Okay, then why is a damage to the ozone layer a cause of concern? You know that very well about the ozone layer and the ozone layer depletion too. Okay, so why the damage of ozone layer is a cause of concern? Yes, of course, the damage of ozone layer is a cause of concern because what is the reason for that? Because this ozone layer that you know, it will be acting as a protective layer on Earth's surface, okay, to protect our from the harmful UV radiations, right? So, the sun will producing certain harmful UV radiation. That radiations will affect the human body as it will causes certain skin cancers and all that you know, okay. So, from protecting all these type of diseases or cancerous type of diseases, this UV radiations, okay, from these UV radiation from the sun, okay, so the human beings that we are residing in the earth, okay, we are getting protected from this UV radiation by this ozone layer. Okay, so ozone layer actually protecting us, okay, it will be acting as a shield to protect us from UV radiations. Okay, so that is why it is a main cause of concern. Okay, otherwise this UV radiation will cause cancers and all, okay, skin cancers and all. Then what are its causes that we have already discussed? What are the causes and what steps are being taken to limit this ozone layer depletion or this damage? Okay, we know that the main cause of concern about this ozone layer depletion is the elimination of certain gases like elimination of certain chemicals like CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, these are the main cause of concern. So, elimination of these CFCs which are being used in refrigerators and all, okay, in ACs and all. So, these chemicals will badly affect, okay, these chemicals will the release of these chemicals when they are uncontrollable, they will cause this ozone layer to deplete, okay. So, it will causes a serious health conditions, bad health conditions to the human beings that is present in the earth, okay, residing in the earth, right. So, the CFCs are the main cause of concern. Elimination of these gases, chlorofluorocarbons will create ozone depletions. Right, and what are the main steps that has to be taken to limit this damage? What are the steps? First step, the major step is what? That is limiting the elimination or limiting the elimination of these CFCs. Okay, limit the elimination of, limit the release of CFCs. Okay, this is the main cause. This is the main concern. We have to limit the use and the elimination of these gases into the environment or to the atmosphere, right. Then you know that in certain developing countries and developed countries, they will sign and they will obeying the rules and restrictions of UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Program, okay, and they are signed and they will obey the rules of UNEP to lower or to limit the elimination or release of these CFCs, okay, in 1986, okay, as per the rule of 1986, right. So, this is the main cause of concern. Then, section D, okay. So, here you can expect questions, okay, that is about 4 marks or 5 mark questions you can expect in this section, okay. So, the question is, why is it not possible to reconstruct the whole organism from that is formed from a fragment in complex multicellular organism? Okay. So, why is it not possible to reconstruct the whole organism from where? From a fragment in complex multicellular organisms. Okay, you know that what are multicellular organisms? That is, their body is made up of many cells. Okay, a division of labor you can observe there. Okay, so many cells are performing different functions in multicellular organisms. So, that organism are made up of what kind of cells? A group of cells will be getting joined and they will be forming. Okay, the cells will be getting organized and they will be forming tissues. Okay, and the tissues will get organized and they will be forming different organs, and these organs will be placed in specific locations or specific positions in the body of an organism to do a particular work, okay, to do its particular function. Okay, so this is a kind of a multicellular organism. So for a multicellular organism, a single fragment is not enough to reconstruct the entire organism. Okay, that is possible only in primitive type of organs. Okay, so in primitive type of organisms, you can any kind of body part you can select, and from that fragment you can reconstruct the entire organism. But in multicellular organism, you cannot accept these kind of things. Okay, so that is the answer. In section D, the B question is, sexual maturation of reproductive tissues and organs are necessary link for reproduction. Elucidate your answer. Okay, so sexual maturation of reproductive tissue. What are reproductive tissues? Okay, reproductive tissues means reproductive cells. Okay, and they are otherwise called as the germinal cells, right? Germinal cells, and these germinal cells or reproductive cells actually participate in what? Sexual reproduction. Okay, in sexual reproduction they are actually participating. Only the somatic cells are not participating in sexual reproduction. They are only requiring for the normal growth and development of the body. Okay, so only the normal developmental time of an organism, the somatic cells are getting differentiated, they will getting matured and all. Okay, so for the sexual reproduction, okay, somatic cells and their growth and development will be getting limited, or they will be getting slowed down, and only the sexual cells or the germinal cells or the reproductive cell will getting grow and they will getting matured. Okay, then only the sexual reproduction will happens. Okay, so the sexual maturation of this germinal cells or reproductive cells and organs are very, very necessary. Okay, they are very important for a sexual reproduction to happen, right? So that is the answer. Then next one, here also you have another question. So A and B will be there. A, how are variations useful for species if there is a drastic alteration in the niches? Okay, so what do you mean by niches? Niches means the area, okay, the environmental area, the environmental condition in which a particular organism will flourish. Okay, that is its favorable condition. That is its niches. So if there is drastic alteration in the niches, okay, so niches will change. Okay, the niches will getting changed. Then what will happen? Okay, if the condition, environmental conditions will getting changed, the species will get wiped out from that environmental condition. Okay, so the species get wiped out. Okay, so if a drastic change will happen in the niches, the organism that is present or living in this particular niche will get wiped out. Okay, that is the thing. So how are variations useful for species if this changes will happen? If a niche will change, the organisms present in that area will get wiped out. If some of the species will be having certain variations, okay, they will be having a lot of some sort of variations, then what will happen? These variations will help that species to survive in that particular niche, okay, over a period of time. Okay, so over a period of time, these variations will accumulate and they will helping for the survival of this particular species in that particular area. Okay, so that will be useful. Okay, that is the answer. Then in B, explain how the uterus and placenta provide necessary conditions for the proper growth and development of the embryo after implantation. You know that uterus and placenta are very important for giving nutrition to the growing or the developing embryo. You know that the uterine wall will be getting very much thickened. Okay, they will be richly supplied with the blood vessels. Okay, and they will actually provide nutrition to the growing embryo, right? And you know, placenta is the main connection between a mother and a child, okay, through which the materials will be getting transferred. Okay, if the nutrients from the mother will be getting transferred into the baby or the growing embryo through placenta. Okay, so that is the role of placenta. And also the developing embryo also getting, they will also generating some sort of waste materials. So that waste materials from the embryo also getting transferred to the mother's blood through this placenta. Okay, so this is actually the connection between the mother and the baby. Okay, placenta. And you know that this placenta will provide nutrition to the growing embryo. Okay, all the necessary glucose and oxygen will be getting transferred from mother's blood to the embryo will be through this placenta. Right, and also the muscles of the uterine wall. Okay, the rhythmic contractions of the muscles of the uterine wall is actually helping for the childbirth too. Okay, for the childbirth, the muscles in the uterine wall will getting a rhythmic contraction. They will be showing some sort of rhythmic contractions and all, and then only the baby will getting delivered properly. Okay, the childbirth time. Okay, so these are the main things that you have to remember about the uterus and placenta. Okay, they are actually providing necessary condition and providing nutrition for the developing embryo for their proper growth. Right. Then in section E, you have a question. Okay, so Pooja has green eyes while her parents and brother have black eyes. Okay, Pooja will be having green eyes. Okay, so parents and brother will be having black eyes. That you have to note. That Pooja's husband Ravi has also black eyes, while his mother, Ravi's mother, has green eyes and father has black eyes. Okay, so these are the eye conditions provided, and the question is, on the basis of the above given informations, is the green eye color a dominant or a recessive trait? And justify your answer. Okay, so this is the question. So from the given sentence or the given illustration, we have to identify whether this green eye color is a dominant or a recessive one. Okay, from this you can simply identify that Pooja has green eyes, his parents and brother will be having black eyes. So the black eyes will be somewhat, it will be the dominant trait here. Okay, and also the Ravi, okay, the Pooja's husband also having black eyes. Right. So here the green eye color is a recessive trait. Okay. So green eye color is a recessive trait and it will only express in its homozygous condition. Okay. If we are taking black eyes as capital B, the genotypes, capital B. This is a homozygous black eye. Okay. Homozygous black eye, and capital B, small b, that is heterozygous black eye. Okay, so the green eye color will be what type? It is small b. Okay, which is a recessive eye color, green eye color. Okay, which is a recessive eye color and it express only in its homozygous condition. Okay, so that is the answer. Then section B, what is the possible genetic makeup of Pooja's brother's eye color? Okay, so Pooja's brother's eye color, okay, here also given that brother eye color is black eye color and it will be having two possible genetic makeups. Okay, the brother's eye color will be either a capital B, okay, a homozygous capital BB, or it can be either a heterozygous black eye. It is black eye, but it can be homozygous or a heterozygous condition. Okay, so you can choose both these. Okay, these are the possible genetic makeup of Pooja's brother's eye color. Then, what is the probability that the offspring of Pooja and Ravi will have green eyes? Okay, that is, what is the probability that the offsprings of Pooja and Ravi? We know that Pooja will be having a recessive eye color, that is green eye color, right? And Ravi is also black eye color. So it can be a recessive, heterozygous. We are assuming that Ravi will be having a heterozygous black eye genetic makeup. Okay, so these are the parental genetic makeup. This is Pooja. Okay, this is Pooja and this is Ravi, right? So this is black. We are assuming these are the parents. So what is the question? The probability of the offsprings that Pooja and Ravi will be having green eye colors, right? And also show the inheritance of eye color in the offspring with the help of a suitable cross. So you have to cross the parents. Okay, so we are crossing these parents. We'll get two kind of gametes, capital B and small b. Here we'll get only one type of gamete, or you can write it as this type of. Then we can draw a Punnett square. So here you can write capital B, small b, Ravi's genetic makeup, and the small b, Pooja's genetic makeup. Okay, then you can use this Punnett square. You can cross the things. Okay, so the gametes will getting crossed. These are gametes. So capital B, small b, and here you will get small b, and here again capital B, small b, again small b, So this will be the genetic makeup of the offsprings that the Pooja and Ravi will be having. Possible offspring. So capital B, here also capital B, small b, and capital B, small b. So these two offsprings are black eye colored offsprings. Okay, heterozygous black as like of their father, right? And here two offsprings were small b, right? So they will be having green eye colors. Okay, so altogether the total number of offsprings, from that 50% of offsprings will be having the green eye colors. Okay, so that is the possibility. Okay, the probability of offsprings of Pooja and Ravi will have green eyes. What will be the probability? 50% of offsprings. Okay, 50% of offsprings will be having what? Green eye color. Okay, and other 50% will be having black eye color, that is heterozygous black. Okay, so this will be the answer. Right, then last one. 50% of the offspring of Pooja's brother are green-eyed. Okay, so Pooja's brother, he will be having a genetic makeup of capital B, small b, or it can be a capital B. Okay, both this are possible for Pooja's brother. So 50% of the offsprings of Pooja's brother are green-eyed. The offsprings are like this of green-eyed offsprings, that is 50%. Then with the help of cross show how this is possible. Again, you can use this cross again. Okay, so for Ravi, so for Pooja's brother, his genetic makeup will be capital B, small b. It will be a heterozygous one because their parents also black-eyed persons. Okay, and if his wife genetic makeup, okay, it is a small b, because the offsprings produced are 50% are green-eyed. Okay, so 50% green-eyed and 50% is black-eyed. So if the offsprings are like this, the parents will be this kind of genetic makeup. Parents will have this kind of genetic makeup. So Pooja's brother will be having capital B, small b, and his wife will be having a small b genetic makeup. Okay, so this will be the answer. Okay, these are the possibilities of the genetic makeup of this parents, that is Pooja's brother and her wife and his wife, and the 50% of the offsprings, they are 50%. Okay, they are green-eyed and this 50% are black-eyed. So if the offsprings are like this, the parents will be having genetic makeup of this. Okay, so you have to explain this with the cross. Okay, so this is the answer. So these are the things that you have to kept in mind. So this is how you have to answer the different type of questions. Okay, it will be including assertion, reason type of question, in MCQ type of question, and case-based questions and all. So you have to study all of this very well, and hope you understand. Thank you.